Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. The Sugar Bowl is a classic motivation game. Number 5, Alabama enters the game not in the college football playoff. And it's not very often that we see the Crimson Tide outside of the Final Four. So will they be motivated for this game? Will they want this game? Or are they just going to kind of blow it off and say whatever happens, happens? We know that Kansas State, the number 9 team in the country, we know they're hyped for this game. We know they're ready to go. 10-3, champions of the Big 12, and their reward is the opportunity to take down Nick Saban and the greatest dynasty that college football may have ever seen. The Wildcats will be ready. Can Alabama say the same? That is what we are here to answer and break down for you today. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. We're so glad that you could join us. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below, including those expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Guys, as of this video, we are 15-2. 15-2 against the spread over on thegridironexpert.com. We have our holiday special over there, $29.99. Gets you every college football bowl game pick and every NFL playoff pick as well. So all postseason football combined into one package for 15-2. If you bought it, you've easily made your money back, and we're going to keep adding to that total. So go take advantage of it, guys. Best mark in the entire country, hands down, for one of the lowest prices in the country. We want you to join our team today. So go check it out. Link down in the description below. So let's dive into this game, guys. Again, number 5, Alabama, number 9, Kansas State. No better way to really kick off your New Year's Eve day. We got New Year's Eve, obviously with this game, and then you have the playoff semifinals later on in the day. We'll be predicting those tomorrow right here at the channel. But this is going to be a great matchup, a really fun one to watch. And we'll start with Alabama and their offense, where we do know that Bryce Young will be playing. It was kind of a surprise to hear that Bryce Young will be playing in the Sugar Bowl. Many thought he could be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. Figured he'd just opt out like many other top prospects. But he is going to play for Alabama, threw for over 3,000 yards and 27 touchdowns this year. He's leading an offense, guys, that's averaging over 40 points per game, 278 passing yards per game, and 197 rushing yards per game. They've got a lot of talent. You know, I think a lot of people are looking at this game and they go, Alabama, they're not in the college football playoff, they're 10-2, oh, they're no good. No, that's obviously not the case. Alabama's still very, very good and very, very talented. Bryce Young will be under center. He will be without one of his top wide receivers in Trayshawn Holden, who was 4th on the team with 331 yards and 6 touchdowns. Still expect the Crimson Tide to be okay, though, especially if they have Jahmyr Gibbs in the backfield, who has over 850 rushing yards and 7 rushing touchdowns on the year. So a lot of Alabama's top offensive playmakers should be playing in this game. That's a huge boost for this team against a stingy Kansas State defense that we'll talk about soon. Kansas State, on the other hand, their offense has taken off with Will Howard under center. Adrian Martinez was the starter to the year, battled some injuries. Will Howard comes in. He led them to that Big 12 championship. He's thrown for over 1,400 yards, 15 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions. He's leading an offense right now, guys. It's averaging over 33 points per game, and it's about as balanced as you can be, averaging 210.5 passing yards per game and 209.6 rushing yards per game. I mean, there's less than a yard separating the passing averages and the rushing averages. You can't be much better than that if you're Kansas State. Will Howard's been phenomenal. Major reason for their success also is Deuce Vaughn, one of the best running backs in the country, who's rushed over 1,400 yards and 8 touchdowns. Also has over 370 reception yards and 3 reception touchdowns. So he can beat you through the air. He can beat you on the ground. He's one of the best players in the country. They've got Malik Knowles out wide, 719 reception yards and 2 touchdowns. This is a team, guys, that offensively is clicking on all cylinders. They are firing on all cylinders. They've scored at least 31 points in each of their last 4 games, including that Big 12 championship victory over TCU. TCU's only loss of the season. They, of course, are playing in the playoff. But this Kansas State team is elite, guys. They're playing great, great ball and will give this Alabama defense a tough test. They will. But one good thing that Alabama does get from their defense is their starter. They get their star linebacker, Will Anderson, in this game. So the top offensive player and Bryce Young chose to not opt out and to play in the game. Alabama's top defensive player and Will Anderson chose to not opt out and play in this game. Both are expected to be first-round draft picks if they go pro, but yet here they are playing in the Sugar Bowl. The defense, for the most part, seems to be intact, and that's huge for Alabama. 18 points per game, that's all they're giving up. Just 186 passing yards per game, all they're giving up. And they're giving up just 125 rushing yards per game as well. So the ground game hasn't really been working for opponents against Alabama, and you worry about that for Kansas State. They need that balance to thrive offensively, and Alabama makes them one-dimensional. Kansas State could struggle a little bit. Crimson Tide do have 36 sacks on the year, but only 12 turnovers. So they're not doing a great job of taking the ball away. They're just going to try to force you to go 3 and out. Get you in second and third and long situations, punt the ball back to Alabama on the offense, and more than likely they're going to score on you. But you look at a couple of numbers here, guys. What has been the downfall for Alabama across the board this year? We look at their losses. Against LSU, they gave up 182 passing yards and 185 rushing yards. They lost the turnover battle as well, 1-0 to the Tigers. Against Tennessee, Alabama gave up 385 passing yards, 182 rushing yards. They did win the turnover battle, but committed 17 penalties for 130 yards. Against LSU, they also had 9 penalties for 92 yards. So the two takeaways I see from that are, don't allow your opponent to be balanced. So Alabama defensively has to find a way to make Kansas State one-dimensional, whether that's Will Howard solely doing it through the air or Deuce Vaughn solely doing it on the ground. They've got to find a way to make them one-dimensional, and you can't be yourself. A major reason Alabama has struggled this season, major reason for those 2 losses to LSU and Tennessee, major reason they almost lost to A&M, they almost lost to Texas and guys like that, is because of penalties and turnovers. They have to play clean, mistake-free football, and that's easier said than done, especially against a good Kansas State defense that's giving up just 20 points per game, 217 passing yards per game, and about 150 on the ground. That's a kind of a concerning number there. The fact that Kansas State has kind of been a little porous with their ground game. They gave up 269 rushing yards to Texas. They gave up 215 to TCU, gave 160 to Tulane. So there's a couple games there where they have struggled. All 3 of those losses for Kansas State, where those teams have put up some pretty big rushing numbers. And if Alabama can do that, and really, to me, hit that 160 mark, they can eclipse about 160 yards rushing, Bama's in good shape, in my opinion. No doubt about it. I mean, you look at this, guys. Yes, Kansas State, 28 sacks on the year, 24 turnovers, 16 interceptions. So secondary has actually proven to be pretty solid for the Wildcats. But if they can't stop the run, then they're not going to win this game. It's just not going to happen. They've got to find a way to slow down the run, force Bryce Young to win the game through the air. He definitely can do it. Last year's Heisman winner, he's a heck of a quarterback, could be the #1 overall draft pick, but make Alabama one-dimensional just like Alabama needs to do the same to Kansas State. So ultimately, guys, what's going to happen in this game? Again, one of the more intriguing New Year's Six bowl games, a great appetizer for the playoff games that we'll have later in the day on New Year's Eve. But ultimately, guys, the decision for Bryce Young and Will Anderson to play in this game tipped the scale to me in Alabama's way. I'm going Alabama in this game. And my whole logic, the whole offset, or during this waiting period, I was like, all right, look, if Bryce Young doesn't play and a lot of other key players for Alabama opt out, I'm going Kansas State. I love Kansas State. I love the motivation. I love this team and how well they've played. But if Bryce Young plays, and obviously one of the best defensive players in the country, Will Anderson, he plays, I got to go with Alabama. So that was the swinging point. That was the tipping point for me in picking a winner here. Bryce Young's decision to play leans me towards Alabama. This game will be close, though. Kansas State's going to give them everything they have. They're a very, very good team. But ultimately, I think Nick Saban and Alabama get the win. Clinch an 11-win season, which is disappointing for some. It's not a national championship or not an SEC championship or anything like that, but it's still a New Year's Six bowl win. It's still another double-digit win season, and Alabama fans can hope to regroup and bounce back and make the playoff again next year. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Check out everything down in the description below. Again, we're 15-2 in our college football bowl game picks. You're missing out if you haven't signed up already. Go check it out. The link down in the description below. That holiday special gets you every single postseason pick, not just for college, but NFL as well. Again, the link in the description. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.